All right, what's up, everybody? We are live with the infamous Ryan Griggs. What is up, my brother? How's it going?
Infamous. That sounds terrible.
No, man, it's great. It's great. Everybody knows Ryan Griggs. If you don't know Ryan Griggs, you're
Yeah,
living under a rock.
that's become kind of a theme. I didn't realize so many people had such nice things to say about me lately.
Listen, it doesn't matter if it's nice, if it's not nice, as long as you're talking about you leaving somebody else alone.
Yeah, I had my fun today with different things at work. So let's get
Yeah.
this thing started. Let's talk about not being anonymous.
Yeah, so I mean, the topic or the title is not so anonymous. Why don't you just kind of kick us off into and let us know, what does that mean? What does not so anonymous mean to you, Ryan? And then we'll just kind of dig in.
All right, let me look this up real quick. So I looked at it earlier. So I'm 1 year, 9 months, 17 days sober, or a total
Wow.
of 656 days. Um, when I oh, where'd he go? I lost my host.
Okay. Hey, I think we all right. I think we got the
Hey,
technical problems.
my host is back.
Look, it just blew me away when you said that. It blew me off set. Like, I mean, all right. So,
That's awesome.
so how many days was that again?
656 total.
Dude, that is impressive. That is impressive. And so sobriety to you means no alcohol, no drugs, no any mind altering anything. You're
Nothing.
hammering through life on water and soda and tea.
Yeah, because I pretty much kicked energy drinks too.
Nice. Oh man. So I'm still listen. The energy drinks is a daily fight for me. I kind of get on and off that wagon some, but it's like, man, I was talking to a waitress today, and we were talking about energy drinks of all things, and she's like, you know what? It's not even worth it to give that up. Like, it's one of those things. It's a vice that I'm okay with. So, I'm not. I don't have that thought. I do like to give them up because I do think that they kind of raise anxiety and stuff like that. But there's times when I'm going pretty hard that it is nice to get the caffeine for sure.
I've found some better ones that have like nootropics and things in them.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, same here. Same here. So, all right. So, not so anonymous. Okay, that's the title. Not so anonymous. You're
We're
you're
on a roll.
sober. Uh oh. What's going on?
Nope,
Can you hear me? We are struggling with internet right
I
now.
am sober. So for me, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead, Ryan. Apparently, there's a delay. Go ahead with.
Listen,
All right. So, mhm.
so I am. So I tried AA, and I love
Okay.
AA. I think it's fantastic. If you can walk into an AA meeting knowing you're an alcoholic.
Sure.
I walked into many meetings not knowing that. But in October of 2023, I walked into my first one and knew where I was supposed to be.
Okay.
The only thing I find with AA is that you are in this collective group of people, and then you feel like you're only with that collective group of people. So
Yeah.
as my sobriety has grown
Hmm.
and things have progressed, I don't want to be anonymous
Well, the
because I
name,
want
the name
uh,
AA is Alcoholics Anonymous, right?
right. But the problem is that I feel like then you're putting people in this category,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still forcing people to feel diminished or to feel less than with their
Excluded,
problem.
right?
When if
Pulled
you're
out of
not
the.
so, when
Mm-hmm.
when you're not so anonymous, then you know that you have more people around you. So for me, not so anonymous is just my way to kind of soapbox it,
Sure.
but it it helps me reach people that maybe otherwise would feel lost.
Yeah. No, that makes good sense. So let's back up a little bit. Okay. So there was a time when you were uh not so anonymous in the drinking world. Like, so that was your vice, right? Alcohol was your vice. Alcohol was your go-to. Let's talk a little bit about that just for a second. Has it always been a part of your life? Was it a go-to for stress, work release? Like, what was your reason for drinking?
Any and all I
What?
mean,
Yeah, we'd find a reason.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would celebrate a good thing with a drink. I'd take care of a bad thing with a drink.
Sure.
My wife recently reminded me because my grandfather is not going to be with us much longer,
Mm-hmm.
and she reminded me. She goes, "You know what you said way back when?" And I said, "No, what are you talking about?" She goes, "When your grandfather passes, you told me that I'll find you on your favorite bar stool."
Oh
And
man.
I was dumbfounded because I don't think like that anymore.
Sure.
So I think back to that person and think, what a jackass, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's just not how you deal with problems. It's just not.
No, it's
But
not.
I
It's
started dealing with anxiety and depression when I was 14 by, you know, liquor,
yeah.
wanting to feel
Yeah.
accepted, having a beer with people.
Right. Social settings. I mean, it's the cool thing to do. Everybody's a little bit more bubbly and conversational with a little alcohol in them, and then it just kind of snowballs on you. But the thing is like when you're dealing with problems with alcohol, you're essentially just kind of sweeping them under the rug. They're not going away. You're just forgetting about them short term for them to
Yeah.
expose themselves later. And usually, you're not a great person later because you are not feeling the best, and so those problems just kind of keep growing on you too. I'm curious. Okay, so talking about, I mean, obviously, for years of your life, alcohol was a big part of it. Was there a turning point where you said, okay, enough's enough? Like you mentioned going to numerous meetings where it really just never resonated with you. But was there a turning point? Like you said, okay, this is the line in the sand.
Yeah, and not a lot of people know this. There was an issue. There's a legal issue.
Sure.
Um, and my actions ended up affecting someone else.
Okay.
And they didn't affect them just slightly. And that's had a very massive adverse effect on me as a person, my family, my friends. Um, but it was that point when, oh, where am I going? It was that point when it was fear, it was humility, it was a lot of emotions. Don't get me wrong.
No, I can
That
only imagine. Yeah.
I had gone to someone who had been in AA for years, many years, over 30 years,
Sure.
and he sent me to a great meeting. And I walked into this room and I sat down with these people, and I was hearing my story
Through
from other
everybody
people.
else. Wow.
And that's when I realized I was an alcoholic.
So those of us that have never been to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and by the way, I want to preface this conversation with, I am sober and I live a sober life. That hasn't been the case for the majority of my life, just like you. I didn't have I don't feel like I had alcoholism where I had to have it, but I do feel like I used it, overused it, a large percentage of the time, but it was more like an escape, and I was not addicted to it, but I was probably wanted to use it to escape. So, but like I have never been to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. What is it like when you walk in there? I mean, is it a circle of people and they're inviting you in? How does that work?
Well, you pass the talking stick. We all do kumbaya.
Okay, yeah,
No, it's the right meeting feels like friends and family, to be honest with you.
okay,
It feels like you're sitting down, like, and I say this because it's the right meeting.
mm-hmm.
Not every meeting is going to feel like the right meeting. For me, it was an Alano club in Fenton that was just it sparked me in a way that I had never felt. But it was just feeling this warmth of people and no judgment.
Sure. So you
You
have
get
this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
different things, different parts of the book that get read. Maybe you're in a different chapter, but you also get to have an open discussion and talk about where you're at and maybe your problems. And it also gives you an opportunity to hear other people's and help them.
Sure. Yeah, and you mentioned the anonymous part. Why do you think that the name anonymous is in their group? I mean, obviously, I think that we all know that there
Oh,
is a there's a stigma against it, and that shouldn't exist. But why do you think they have their name Alcoholics Anonymous when you're you're out here saying I'm the not so anonymous? Why do they focus on that part? Is it because they're wanting to give you kind of that comfort when you're starting out?
Well, you got to remember a lot of that book was written a long time ago.
Okay.
And to be anonymous was, I mean, you could be a businessman who was drunk. It was, or women back then weren't even supposed to be drunk, and it was a different time. The book still carries 99% of great content, but some of it just doesn't fit to today.
So there's a book that coincides with these meetings.
For me, I don't want to be anonymous.
I'm sorry, there's a little bit of delay too. I'm not sure.
The blue book, the big book, actually, as it's called.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
It's called the Big Book.
Okay, and that's yes, I can. And so that follows suit. Like, so you start reading the book. Look, we're rolling with this, man. I don't know where the internet issue is, but we'll work through it. We had a 45-minute timeline that we thought we were going to use, but you know what? We may run over that, but because this is important. This is so important, man, and I want your story to get out because I think that, like you said, if one person is affected by this or changes or understands, then you feel like this has been successful. So you know what? I don't care about delay. We'll work through this as much as we have to. All right. Book that coincides with the meetings. And you go in and you dive deep. You mentioned first that you weren't accepting of that. Then this incident happens, and you're like, "Hey, this is my eye-opening experience." Is that right?
Okay, we're going for a walk. We're going for a walk.
Okay. Let's see if we can get to some Wi-Fi.
There we go.
Oh yeah, I think it's already better.
So I get for going outside.
Hey, so can you hear me okay?
There we go, see? Yeah, I can hear you.
Say it again.
We're just rolling with it this time.
Oh, absolutely. So can you hear me okay? We coming through? There you go. You got it.
I can hear you perfect.
All right, my man. Okay, so I want to talk
We're
about
going to lose our audience because I'm being all crazy, but
No, we're not. No, we're not. They want to hear about this. This is a topic that has a lot of people's interest. There's a huge movement into sobriety, and I think that people are realizing how toxic alcohol can be. And there's still a lot of people that say, it's not a problem in my life, but there's no question about the how toxic it can be in some of our lives. So let me ask you this: we mentioned the turning point, but can you describe like the lowest point, like where you were kind of like, okay, I mean, I understand that there was this definitive moment, but was there moments leading up to that where just like you were at the bottom? They say you got to get to the bottom, right? Were you at the bottom at any point, or was this kind of abrupt?
And, I was probably walking the bottom for a long time.
Yeah. Yep. You hung out on the bottom.
I mean, and yeah, and it's something I probably never realized I was doing.
Understood.
So the truth is that, for me, it was just a moment that happened kind of all at once. And then for others, it might be a lifelong struggle and they never see the legal system. For me, I mean, I met the legal system numerous times with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a fun place to be. And I think that that's one of the biggest points, that when you're anonymous and you're in that point, yes, I get it that people have, people they can call through these meetings, or they have sponsors and things like that. But what if you're in a place where you can't do that?
Sure.
What if you need people to understand? What if they need to know your story so they don't step on those places? Like for me, I have trigger points that I just can't go around. I mean, that comes down to even the music I listen to. But for me, being open with it, with my friends, my family, my wife, my kids, it's allowed me to heal in a way that I wasn't sure I could.
Okay, so that right there is a mouthful in itself. having your family understand the issue. All right, let's talk about before this turning point, your relationship with your wife and you have kids. How was alcohol affecting that relationship? I mean, obviously it probably had some negative impact on that, huh?
Deeply. My wife's not
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
Deeply. I mean, I was, you'd sneak a drink here, you sneak a drink there, and then come home and were you drinking? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and she's not stupid. I mean, and at that point you're just building on lies,
Yep.
and it turns into this double life that's just downright terrifying, because then honestly it snowballs, because then you're drinking because you feel guilty from this double life. And
Yeah.
that's the sickness of addiction.
It is. It is. And then you couple that with I can't tell anyone. And alcohol is even different because we're drugs, especially in the hardcore drug scene, like you seclude yourself, right? You want to seclude. With alcohol, it's a social thing. So people just don't even get it. What do you mean you're not drinking? You're not drinking.
Yeah.
It's expected at times, and it's expected like families their core relationships and values are built around drinking sometimes. And so to quit drinking, you're looked down on at times because that's just the thing you do.
Yeah, I mean, when you go out on the boat, you have a beer.
Yes. Yep.
When you go to the open house, you have a beer.
Yeah.
And it's all these different things. I mean, then it turns into you're at the baby shower, you have a beer.
Restaurant. I mean,
Restaurant.
Everything.
I mean, you're at the
has
baseball
alcohol.
game.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's this thing that's just around all of us, and it's not the same for everybody. So I had to understand that, like, and that's another big thing is that, in Alcoholics Anonymous, they say there's groups that'll tell you just can't be around anybody who drinks.
Yeah.
Well, that's just not life. It's
That's
not.
that. Yeah, that's impossible. Yeah.
I mean, I can be around people who drink. That doesn't bother me.
Hmm.
But for me, if I have one, it turns into a lot more than one.
Yeah.
And I can't give you a definitive number, because at some point my tolerance was so high I could outdrink most people.
Wow.
I mean,
And so
I
there
could
was
put back
essentially no off switch. Like
no,
once
I
it's
could
on
put
its
back
own. Yeah.
I drank to get drunk. I drank to pass out,
Yeah.
because
And
it
then the
wasn't
next
about
day.
it wasn't the euphoric effect.
Yeah, yeah, right. The fun zaps out of it pretty quick. All right, the next day. What is the next day after a moment like that? What does that feel like? What does it look like to you? You go hammer hard. Let's just call it a Thursday night because work's Friday. You working Friday or you taking off? What does the next day look like?
There was times I couldn't work, but
Yeah.
to be honest with you, mine got so bad that I could work.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So I mean, I take a couple time and I'll drink a couple monsters throughout the day, and I'm good to go.
And you just will power through it. And then
Yeah,
then
and
it's a
never
vicious
back.
cycle, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then you start drinking again,
Right.
and that's your tolerance just building.
Yep.
But you don't realize you're not firing on all cylinders. So I mean, there's still brain connectivity that's not quite firing correctly. You just don't notice it. And it's
So
this progressive downhill slide that you just never see.
slow regression into this, just self sabotage. You're literally doing things over and over again that are killing you and killing your relationships, and yet your brain makes it sound fun before the actual event starts, right? Like you will convince yourself that I'm just gonna have one this time, or it's gonna be different this time, and it's every time that it's like that. Was it like that for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew the places I could go and I could drink, and I knew the places I could go and they wouldn't even run my debit card.
Sure. Sure.
I had a restaurant where I could eat dinner and do shots with the owner and have beers, and I never had a bill.
Right. Right.
And that's a dangerous game to play.
Absolutely. Imagine going to the casino without the ramifications of paying for it.
Right. And that's exactly what it was.
Oh,
That's a
man,
great analogy to it.
how much would you gamble?
Right.
Like
You
and
just
at
want to
some
play to
point,
win
it's
at that
gonna catch
point.
up. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, it's
mine was a real alcoholism. It really is. So for some people, it might affect their day-to-day operations and how they see things the next day or how they
sure.
exercise the next day. For me, it affects me in such a way that it negatively impacts everybody around me. Like, I can't drink.
I'm going to tell you something. This epiphany I think that I've had. And so 75 hard is a challenge that I'm doing right now, but I've done it over the last 5 years. I've probably done it 6 or 7 times in its entirety. And every time I'm doing it, I talk to people about it, and I always encourage them and invite them to do the challenge. Well, this challenge just happens to include 75 days of sobriety, no alcohol at all, period. Now, people, the first thing they say, now it's got a strict diet, and you got to work out 2 times a day, and you got to drink a gallon of water. Nobody has a problem with that, but the very first thing 90% of people say is, I'm not going 75 days without alcohol. And I say, well, what do you mean? Like, no, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't want to do it. I say, well, can we agree that the 75 hard challenge would change your life? If you did this, it would change your life for the better. I'd say, yeah, I can agree to that. But yet there's alcohol that you are unwilling to go 75 days consecutive without. Now, I want you to say that out loud and tell me you're not addicted to it.
Yeah.
I had the same thing. Yeah.
That's like saying you can't go 75 days without some ice cream.
Right.
Like, just give it up.
Exactly.
If you don't have a problem with it, just give it up.
But so it's so sociably acceptable and sociably expected. I don't even call it acceptable anymore. I call it socially expected. Because when you sit down at a restaurant, or you sit down Lord forbid, you go to a bar or a sports bar with the family, and you want to watch a game, and you're not drinking a beer, well, everybody's like, man, why aren't you drinking? What's up? And then that snowballs the conversation. I mean, I'm sure you've had in your sobriety. What are some of the run-ins with friends and family? The owner of the restaurant, like, I'm sure he encouraged you at first, but then it's like, hey, he lost his drinking buddy, probably. Out of your friends and stuff like that, did you have to literally restart your life with friends and all that stuff?
I have a very unique experience.
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay.
So even the owner of the restaurant quit drinking.
Wow. That's amazing. That's powerful.
In fact, I know several bar owners that don't drink.
Yeah. Well, they see the worst side of it.
Most of my closest friends don't drink.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my wife doesn't drink because she's pregnant, but she wasn't drinking prior either.
Sure.
Honestly, and it's because I've been open about it. That's how I honestly feel. Once I admitted I had a problem, I had this immense support system that I didn't know existed.
Sure.
And not everybody has that. And that goes back to, I don't want to be anonymous.
Yeah, this is
because
anonymous conversation.
What if somebody doesn't have that support system?
Yeah.
So if I'm not anonymous, I can be a part of that, even if it's just the beginning or the middle, whatever chapter they're on. Because for me, I'm very spoiled, and I say that spoiled.
Sure.
Because just for instance, you and I are very good friends.
Mm-hmm. We
would never drink around one another.
Absolutely not.
Carlin.
Yeah.
Jay Lee, Tim. Billy. And these are just some people I can name.
Yeah, right.
That are a part of a support system that's across the country, let alone who I have in my backyard. So I'm very lucky, spoiled that way, and I took it for granted for a really long time.
Yeah, I think that everybody has their vice, right? Everybody has their go-to when things aren't great. And whether their friends, family are supporting it or doing it or whatever, like that was your go-to. And it just turned out to be super toxic in your life. It turned out to make you make really, really bad decisions at times. And so, now it's like, okay, how do we get from A to B? So you go to the meetings. Here we are, 600 plus days sober. Those can't all be easy. I know what my sobriety looks like. Okay, I know what the length of time, and I know what a relapse looks like. In the most recent months. Okay, and I call it a relapse, even though I don't feel like I was physically addicted to alcohol. It was an absolute relapse because when I started drinking, I didn't stop until I stopped again. Okay, and so what does 600 days of sobriety look like in a nutshell? It can't be wrapped up in a box with a bow on it.
It's not. So I do AA on Zoom,
mm-hmm.
like I think I'm still 4 days a week.
Wow.
And that's because I won't let my work schedule dictate if I can go to a meeting or not.
Amen to that.
I see a therapist every week. I have substance abuse counselors that are friends that we check in on one another.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the most recent last 60 days, I started taking anxiety and depression meds again because some things were just getting a little too hard.
Sure.
And
Sure.
I had to admit that I needed something to just get me over the plateau. You know, it's not an everyday struggle. I don't have cravings. I never had withdrawals, but it's an everyday thing that I wake up knowing I'm an alcoholic. And so I want to make these shirts,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to say "Not So Anonymous," but just like AA on the back, it's going to say "One Day at a Time."
Love it. Yeah,
Because
that
if
never changes.
if you take it any further than just the day you're on, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Right. So, okay. 600 days in, you mentioned triggers. What do you stay away from? What do you say it again?
Some music, even.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, my triggers they're different. I mean, there's restaurants I won't go to,
Sure.
party stores I don't go to,
Yep.
late night events. I mean,
That's- okay,
honestly, there's nothing good happens after 10 a.m. I don't care, or
There
10
you go.
p.m.
So late night events is absolutely the number one thing that I had to separate myself from because that's where it always led. It always led to that. So like you're spot on. Anything after 10, there's no quality conversations going. You're not striking business deals. You're not meeting. Just say you're single. You're not meeting the husband, wife that you want forever. There, like 10 o'clock, be in bed.
Yeah,
Be in bed, getting ready for the next day.
Be home. You know, it's funny because MTE of 2024,
Mm-hmm.
I went down with my buddy Brandon, which you know.
Oh yeah, know him well. Good friend of mine.
He didn't realize I was sober because it was still pretty new. I mean,
Sure.
we're talking October to January, and we went to dinner inside the Gaylord Palms,
Oh yeah.
and he orders beer. He goes, "You getting a beer?" I'm like, "No," and I still wasn't telling him why.
Sure.
I mean, it was just I wasn't drinking. I don't drink. That's all I would say. I don't drink. You know, we went to Senor Frogs that year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a place where
That is a very hard place. I got a story to tell you about that, but keep going and I'll tell you mine.
Detailers can party, man.
They can. And by the way, you can sum that up as an industry. Like for some reason, you know, and I always preach like you can't say things blanket statements. As an industry, detailers drink. Like I don't know what it is, but they can party.
We go hard all day, and we apparently want to go hard all night.
Let me tell you a horror story. I was in one of my sobriety stints, right? 75 hard challenge, and we were at the Senior Frogs because we host that every year with IGL. At the time, I was the owner of Detail Bookie, so we co-sponsored that with IGL. And I always get up on stage with Joel LaPalm. I'm his hype man, right? And I'm sober Dustin, right? And I'm on stage and blah blah blah. And we're just cutting it up, man. We're having a fun time. And all of a sudden, the MC comes running out, and he's got a bottle. And before I know it, he's pushed my head back, and he's pouring alcohol in my mouth, blowing a whistle. And when I looked down, I made eyes with Chelsea because she knew it, and I'm like, "What just happened? What just happened?" And I got off stage. I was upset a little bit, but I didn't let it just absolutely ruin my night because it was a sip, and I knew that I could power through. Like I wasn't fixing to tie one on because of that. But man, just the audacity for somebody to just expect you to drink, and now he's just used to doing that, right? Like who's on stage with a mic, having fun? That's not that's sober, and yet they run up to you and do that. So, like peer pressure, outside forces and triggers and all that. Those things are so real, man, and people just don't understand the fight that you have to have, the self-discipline to push through that sometimes.
Statistically, I mean, I think it's, don't quote me on this, I think it's 70-75% of people within the first 90 days relapse.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a tough road to hoe.
Stacked against you. They're stacked
It is.
against you.
It is, because even think about it. I mean, you just want to watch the Super Bowl. I mean, how many beer commercials do you see?
Absolutely.
You ever notice on the Super Bowl it's beer and Viagra? I don't know what.
Because sex and alcohol sell.
But
I mean, you walk in a gas station. There's beer. There's that's all it's peppered with. You walk in a restaurant, drink menu. You
Yeah.
go to the baseball game, beer stand, beer totes, beer guy walking around with beer, or a girl walking around. Like, it surrounds you.
yeah, I mean, it turns into Mimosa Sundays and
Oh yeah,
Margarita Tuesdays and Thirsty Thursdays
it's always a
and
reason.
Manic Mondays. And I mean, dude, I was in the Wing Wednesday. I was in the restaurant industry for years.
Yeah.
I mean, you wanna really push your alcoholism, be in the restaurant industry. Because
You say, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, it's prevalent in every industry, I think.
You say you had got to the point where you were productive, or let me rephrase that, you were going to work.
Yeah, I was going.
Yeah, what do you think the impact on your business? What do you think what impact do you think alcohol has played on your business?
You know, the crazy thing is, it really didn't affect my quality of work.
Sure.
It affected my interaction with people.
Okay.
It affected how I treated customers, how I handled stress.
Yep.
And that was a double-edged sword. So if I had a really stressful day and I got partially a hangover,
Yeah.
how do we deal with stress? Well, then we turn to alcohol
We drink.
because we want to relax. And it's feeding the monster. And that's what it was for me. It was just a monster that I couldn't keep in a cage.
Yeah. Right. And it doesn't start out like that. It doesn't start out like that.
A lot of people know that I only did this for a minute, worked with Mika Auto Auctions.
Okay.
Went out, was a car wipe downer or whatever. I mean, it's a really cool experience.
Sure.
But I went to Indianapolis, and it was, I don't know, about a month before my son was born last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still pretty fresh into sobriety. My wife's home pregnant. I had already pushed it off a week. I didn't go for the full 2 weeks. And we couldn't even go to go-karting without these guys having a beer.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I found myself, now I'm alone in a hotel room, hundreds of miles away, going like this through my phone. Oh, look, beer delivery. Look, liquor delivery.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And I went, nope, gotta go home. Nope, gotta go home. I couldn't sleep that night.
Yeah. Yep.
I couldn't. I just never could sleep that night. I said, listen, I'm going home. And I did. I went. I was only there, I think, I was there less than 3 days, and I couldn't make it. I knew better. I knew I was playing with fire.
I want to talk about something, the power of self-discipline. So with me, when I'm in that situation and then I get myself out of it, or I get through a situation that is very commonplace. I'll give you an example. We were at Dolphin Island Fishing Rodeo all week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're bringing margaritas to the tent. Like, we're a sponsor. They're bringing everything to the tent. The girls are having a drink or two. It is absolutely an event that I would drink at. Absolutely. Go through the entire event, of course, this weekend. Don't drink a drop. The power that gives me is, I can't even explain it. I can't explain the good feeling I get. Do you have that same effect? I mean, do you have that same feeling of empowerment when that happens, or are you still like, man, I'm just glad to be here?
At first, yeah, I was just thank God I made it through, like walking through the landmines.
Sure.
But at my lowest, I didn't know I had that.
Yeah.
A lot of people see me as a strong leader and helpful person, loving, caring. I still to this day struggle with some of that. But I also had a real struggle with who I was just as a person, because I wasn't sure who I was. I was living this double life.
You were living two
So
lives. Yeah.
when I, after Indy and I go home, this is actually one of the first times I'm really sharing this lie, with anybody.
Sure.
But
and I'm thankful for that, by the way.
And I think, each time it got a little better. And I guess it would be kind of like, you did the Ironman, you do these triathlons, marathons. what do you feel like at the finish line? You feel like you made it, but
Yeah,
you
but-
feel like, holy crap, would I ever do it again?
Yeah, there's almost deflation. It's almost like it's that like that successful depression. Like you get to the end and it's now what?
Yeah,
You know?
because I would get out of these situations and be, well, that's great. I'm getting stronger. And then I'd delve back in and I'd go, well, why couldn't I do that before?
Sure.
Why was I so weak before? Why couldn't I just say no before? And I still struggle with that here and there.
How close is drinking in your memory? Do you ever taking a shower or sitting on the couch? Does it feel like it's ever like right here? Like, man, like I feel like it could just happen today. Or have you gotten past that? Because there's times in my life where I felt like, oh man, it's right here, and is it ever going to go away? You know?
I don't get the itch.
Yeah.
And I attribute that a lot to the people I surround myself with. But how do I? So I don't get the itch, but I get mad or I get flustered
Yep.
when I see drunk people on TV. I don't like seeing drunk people.
It's embarrassing too.
It just absolutely drives me up a wall.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point where I turn the TV off because I just can't see who I used to be.
It's embarrassing.
My wife sent me a picture,
Mhm.
I don't know, a few weeks ago. And it's me in my backyard sitting by the fire, and I have a cup of coffee. It's not even a beer.
Sure.
And I'm reading a book. And all I said was, that's the fakest person I ever knew.
Wow.
And it's true. I do not like the old me.
Yeah.
The old me, we couldn't be friends. Because at this point, if somebody tried to hand me a beer, we ain't friends no more.
Here's what I think on that. I think you wouldn't be the person you are today without the past that you've lived. I think that we all have a path, and that you wouldn't be as strong-minded, as driven, as motivated as you are now had you not seen the bottom, had you not hung out there a lot of times. And it's like, man, I know where I'm going because I know sure as hell where I don't want to go.
Well, the truth to that is that I had to face I was an alcoholic.
Yep.
Otherwise, I was never going to grab the rung and start climbing out of that bottom. It was just never going to happen. Because until I owned it, I mean, and not to steal it from Carlin, but that literally, until you own it,
Do you own it?
you don't even see it.
You mentioned a weight being lifted when you told your family, like when you first. Do you remember the moment when you're like, okay, like I have to admit this out loud. Like here's my reality: is I'm an alcoholic. Do you remember that moment? And like, do you remember like what it felt like?
Yeah, it's like this heavy weight on your chest just slowly going away. One you didn't even realize was there. And then you start to think more clearly because now you're saying it out loud. And now not only are you saying it, you're living it. So it's just this continuous path of moving forward, and you're allowing yourself to move forward. Alcohol it's a scary thing. It'll take you before you realize you were took.
Sure it does. Sure it does. And again, there's an expectation in most crowds, in most families, in most friend groups. There's an expectation to drink.
Well, and that expectation starts to go away when you're not so anonymous.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It really does.
When you're loud and proud about your sobriety.
Yeah, I'll shout it from the rooftops. And which is funny because I'll get instant messages. Now I'm showing my age. I'll get private messages.
I've got some instant messages too. I get it.
But I get these private messages, and it'll be from people saying, how do you do this? How are you doing this?
Yeah.
I'm here. What do you do? And we'll talk. And now everybody's path is a little bit different, but I tell everybody the same thing. You want to do this? Your first admission has to be you're an alcoholic. And if you're not there, you're not ready to heal.
Yeah, so I get the same messages, and you want to talk about a good feeling when someone reaches out to you and ask, because, like, man, that's a hard message to hit send on. That is a hard message. when you know it's coming to an end. Let me ask you this: as you saw it coming to an end, I know that it was abruptly, but there had to be moments where you felt like it was the end, but you wanted to give it one last go. Like, was there ever I'm going to quit tomorrow, so I'm going to really send it home tonight?
Oh, I was such the cliche alcoholic. I made rules.
Okay.
I only drink on weekends. Won't drink on work days. Won't drink liquor. Which that one never flew because liquor and I were I enjoyed liquor better than beer. And mine was whiskey and tequila. So mine wasn't anything light. I crawled at the bottom for years.
Yeah.
But I crawled really at the bottom for quite a few months. And it's nobody's fault but my own. I never used to drink at the old shop until one night we were there late all together, and now all of a sudden there's a 6-pack, and now it's okay to drink here.
Yep.
My safe place was gone, and I was more okay with it being gone than I ever realized. So then it turned into me, getting a tall boy at lunch, and it grew from there.
Sure.
The last night I drank, and people can believe this or not, I was told twice, don't go.
Oh, man.
And not by anybody else in the room. I was told twice. No, I was told twice, don't go by.
Okay. Yeah.
I really was. And I believe that firmly. I will say it till the day I'm dead.
So I was going to ask you about faith in your religion, and if you're open to talk about it, and how that plays into all this.
Deeply.
Fantastic.
I pray to God every morning.
Oh, man.
I'll usually pray during the day. During my tough times, I find myself praying now. I will pause and pray.
Man,
I've got shirt ideas coming out my ears. Like, pause and pray. I went on the front one and stuff like that. But
well, I know a guy that sells a lot of shirts. I mean, we could probably figure something out together. I'm just saying. I know a guy.
It's in my faith. I mean, man, it's what I needed. And it's maybe funny is not the right word, but I was riding that double life. So my wife and I are going to like marriage ministries and Sunday services all before all my stuff happened. And I'm one person one place, I'm one person another place, and I'm fighting that. Because, I mean, she's seen both. And she hates one, loves the other.
Yeah.
And, I pushed her as probably about as far as I ever could. And enough to where I thought I was going to pack her bags for her.
Yeah. Yeah, because you start to realize, like, why are they even here? If I'm this guy, why are they even here? All right, so let me ask you this. In your sobriety, when you first got sober and you start thinking about, like, you start going through problems, right? As always, you got to go through the mud. All the stuff you've swept under. You mentioned legal battles. Like, these things are real. They are real. How did you cope? How did you say alcohol is no longer, like, you're literally talking about, like, someone that used alcohol as a crutch to get through these moments, and now you've removed that, and you say you must live through this head on, and you've lived the last 20-something years without, with this crutch, and you're removing that. How did you get through that?
You got to have all the right steps in place.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, admission's the first step. And then I've got friends, I've got family that love me. It was a change in my business, even how I did business.
Yes.
I found balance. To be home sooner, to not, I mean, it's probably bad for business to not take calls all day long, but I had to set that and draw that line in the sand.
Dude, that's exactly, yeah.
Because
you
I
have
was
to do what's right for you. Put business aside, because business doesn't exist with the old Ryan Griggs. Like, that train stops somewhere,
I mean, imagine being drunk at a training. That doesn't work.
Right. No. And you know what's bad? Is at the end of trainings. I mean, I remember going to trainings and speaking at events, and that was the number one plan. Everybody wanted to get out of there so they could go have some beer. Like, that is the plan. Like, let's get out of training so we can go drink.
Well, and to touch on that though, it's a lot of people can do that,
Sure.
and that's
Sure.
okay. So that social norm is okay because a lot of people can handle that social norm.
They can. They can.
I can't.
What's the difference? What do you think? I mean, I think we can probably agree that there's still some performance, impact.
There
There's
is.
still some sort of negative impact. I mean, yeah, you're a little bit more bubbly and more social. Okay, that's like if anybody has there's a pro, like that's what everybody's lean to. Well, I can talk better, I can socialize better. What's the negative? Like, there's still a negative impact, right?
There is. I mean, the next morning you're not as clear. You're not firing on all cylinders,
Right.
and it depends on how much you drink.
I always
know.
thought about what I said.
Oh
Like,
my god!
because there's promises and there's hugs and there's I love yous and then there's like we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that.
Oh my god! The phone. Oh yeah, the phone calls, the text
Oh,
messages, the in-person meetings. Oh my god! The things you say drunk are just obscene, and not even necessarily in the way you think obscene, but just obscene
yeah, you are.
because you make such a jackass out of yourself.
You do. The apology, like you're like sometimes you don't even know what you're apologizing for. You're like,
I normally
"Yeah."
wouldn't apologize.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, I was a jerk, man.
See, and most people never interacted with this Ryan Griggs. Like I never had that experience with you, and you probably never had the negative Dustin Jackson experience because mine wasn't an asshole, mine was nothing. It was just fatigue and fog the next day that slowed me down and suppressed me, and I'm like I was not as functional as I wanted to be.
I think I've ever seen you maybe drink a couple Coronas. That's about it. So
Yeah.
I've never seen that side. Most of my friends, I've never really seen a lot of that side.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I dealt with everything through alcohol: grief, depression, happiness, anger. Oh, anger was a good one. Me angry with alcohol. That was fun.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a jerk? That's a jerk.
Let me ask this. Oh, go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right, what's the future like? Look, what does the future look like for Ryan Griggs? Sober Ryan Griggs. I know it's one day at a time, and I am not going to underestimate that. How bright is the future without alcohol for you? Like, how do you feel like there's an endless potential?
Yeah, I don't get the tunnel vision anymore. I don't see darkness just all the time. I mean, and I'm not bragging, but not drinking, look what I've done to a business.
Yeah, resurrected it.
I mean, that's insane. My friendships are stronger. I feel more comfortable to be there for people because I can actually be there for myself without having this crutch of alcohol with me.
You know what I love? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's man, the future's bright, but it's not bright just because of that. It's bright because people embrace who I am now.
The Saturday morning and the Sunday morning conversations with friends that you wouldn't have had hungover. Those to me are everything. Because those are the conversations I would avoid. Like when if I had tied one on, if I was releasing, then I was secluding. And I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to kind of lay there. I wanted to be by myself. And I avoided interaction. That's one of the things that like avoidance, and was like I just didn't want to be around. I didn't want to talk. Your conversations with friends, family, I mean, how much better are they? How much more often do they happen? Like you, and how much more present are you?
So much more.
Yeah.
I have my therapist says I'm very in tune with my feelings. But recently a friend of mine, had posted online. It was something very deep, sensitive to him. And I felt it. I knew him well enough. I wasn't going to just comment. I called him. I took my day. I paused it and I called him because he needed somebody. And I'd rather be that for someone than, all right, man. Hey, man, you want to go get a beer?
Yeah.
We can talk about it over beer.
Right.
No, it doesn't need to be that.
Nope.
I've said it in my first podcast ever, and I still live by it. Sometimes you just need to shut up and listen for people. And I do that a lot better sober than I ever did drunk.
Same. All right, so as we wrap this thing up, man, it's I know that the quality of life is changing and getting better for you and your family, and you got probably a road ahead of you, but you know what, it's better. If you could say one thing to someone that may be sitting where you were 700 days ago and watching this or catching a glimpse of this, like, man, if you could say one thing to them, what would that be?
You're better than who you think you are.
Oh, man. Yeah. Amen. I
Yep,
love it.
You're better than who you think
It's
you
simple.
are.
It's simple.
I think we all get there.
We do, and you have to come to it on your own. You can. People can want it for you, but you got to want it for yourself. And I can't thank you enough. I've mentioned numerous times what your sobriety has meant to me. Okay, I've said how proud I am of you, and you're voicing it because that allowed others, including myself, to talk about it. I've cheered you on in public and in private, and I think it's amazing what you're doing, and I think that God has a life planned out for you that's going to be amazing, and that you're just scratching the surface of life now. And how amazing is that?
I've always said I'm God's favorite child, but I'm always his biggest troublemaker.
Yeah, I can say that. I think I pushed the limits a little bit too. But you know what, man? Big things they happen, but they don't happen easy, and none of this stuff's easy, and this conversation's not easy. And I'm thankful that you were an open book to us. You were open book on this platform and to me, because I do know that there are people watching. I get messages all the time about my sobriety, and just so you know, the reason that I'm as boisterous as I am, I think that's the word, vocal as I am now, it stems from you making your announcement, however long ago that was, year and a half or whatever. And so that gave me that power to do the same thing. And I'm super proud to call you friend and brother, and look forward to both of our successes in this sobriety, but then also in life and friends and family and work and all those things included.
I appreciate you, brother. I love you.
Love you too, man. Let's wrap it up there. Thank you so much, Ryan Griggs. Obviously, if anybody's watching this that wants to chat more, both of our instant messages are open. All of our DMs are open. Both of us like to help each other, help others and stuff. Look forward to that clothing line coming. We're going to see if we can't push that along. I think that's a really good thing. And, I have a group, Ready, Set, Goal, that's all about empowering others and all, and I would love to see some stuff going on there as far as this goes. Thanks a lot, brother. Looking forward to the next time we chat, man, and we'll see you guys later.